Hi guys, welcome to another math video. In this video, I will be solving a problem from the 24th Philippine Mathematical Olympiad qualifying stage. What is the area of the shaded region of the square below? I will start by labeling some parts of the figure. Since this is a square and it is indicated that these two segments below are congruent or equal in length, I'll label this each of these segments x, meaning to say that the side of the square is 2x. So this side here is 2x. This side here is also 2x. Now, the whole thing is 2x. This small portion here is 1 unit. So the remaining portion here is 2x minus 1. And then I'll make an extension in the shaded region so that we will form another right triangle. I'll connect these 2 points here. Okay, so now we have another right triangle. By Sa's congruence theorem, these two right triangles are actually congruent. Okay, so I can just label this part here with C, this one also C. And then I label the height of the whole triangle, the bigger triangle, by H, the altitude by H. Okay, and then I'll make one more representation for the base of the triangle. I'll label this with B, this one here with B also, because the two bases of the right triangles are congruent. Okay, so from this figure now we can create some equations. First, we have c squared from this triangle, from this right triangle. Take note, this is a right triangle because this is a square and all interior angles are 90 degrees, are 90 degrees in measurement. So this triangle here is a right triangle. This angle here is 90 degrees. So from this triangle, or right triangle, I can create the equation c squared equals 2x minus 1 squared plus x squared. And then another equation that we can have is from this right triangle on top. I'll shade this with red to make the discussion more convenient. And then I'll shade the other triangle with green. Okay. Okay, let's go back. So from the red right triangle, I can create the equation c squared equals 2x squared plus 1 squared. Okay, now since the expressions in the right hand sides of the two equations are equal to c squared, we can actually equate the two expressions so that we will have 2x minus 1 squared plus x squared equals the square of 2x plus 1 squared. And now we will solve for x. Now once we solve for x, we can easily find the area of the red triangle. Okay, and then after that we'll take care of the area of the green triangle. Now solving this equation, we have 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 plus x squared equals 4x squared plus 1. Now, if we gather like terms, we can actually uh, cancel some of the terms. For example, we can have 4x squared minus 4x squared, so that's 0 already. What else? 1 minus 1, that's 0. So the remaining expression is just x squared minus 4x. Okay, so now we have x squared minus 4x equals 0. Now I'll just factor out x, or factor the left hand side to solve for x. So we have x times x minus 4 equals 0. So this implies that x is either 0 or 4. But of course, x is greater than 0. So we take x equals 4. So that's obvious from our figure that x cannot be 0. Okay. Now, since we already have x equals 4, we can easily find the area of the red triangle. So let us find that first. Later on, we'll find the area of the green triangle and then add that area to the area of the red triangle to get the total area of the shaded region. Okay, so let's get the area of the red triangle. So I'll use another color, red. Okay, so the area of the red triangle is just 1/2 times 2x times 1. Okay, so we have 1/2 times 2 times the value of x, and that's 4, and then times 1. So simplifying this, we get 4 square units. Okay, so we are done with the area of the red triangle. Now let us find the area of the green triangle. But before we do that, we must know first the values of b and h. Okay, now before we know the values of b and h, we should know first the value of c. Now let's make use again, or let's go back to our first two equations, and let's just choose number 2, the second equation, to find the value of c. Okay, so that's simpler compared to number 1. Okay, so we have c squared equals 4x squared plus 1. Now we know that x is 4, so c squared is 4 times 4 squared plus 1. So if we simplify that, that's what? So that's 4 squared, 16 times 4, 64 plus 1, 65. Okay. In this case, I will not solve for c because I expect that we will be dealing with c squared later on. So we if we deal with c squared later on and we solve for c, we still have to square that value of c to get c squared. So I'll just retain this one here. So the value of c squared is um, 65. But if you want to solve for c, there's no problem. Okay, so next. Now, how can we find the value of b and h? Now, let's start with b. Now, focus on this triangle here. This is another right triangle in the figure. We can create another equation here using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, just like what we did in the um, previous part of the solution. So we have the square of 2b equals 2x, the square of 2x squared, and then plus x squared. Okay, and then we have 4b squared equals 4x squared plus x squared, and that's equal to 5x squared. Now we solve for b squared. and we have 5 over 4 x squared. Okay, now let's solve for b. b, if we get the square root of both sides, we have 5, I mean x over 2 square root of 5. Okay, now since x is 4, b is 4 over 2 square root of 5, or simply 2 square root of 5. Okay, so let's get h. Now, how do we get h? Now, if we focus on the green triangle, that's still right triangle, we can create the equation c squared equals h squared plus b squared. Okay, and then we can simply substitute the value of c squared and b, or b squared. Okay, c squared is 65, okay, equals h squared plus, okay, so b squared, so if we square this one, that's just 20. Okay, so this is 20, and then h squared equals 40, and then solving for h, get the square root of both sides, that's just what, so 20 is I mean this is not 40, this is 45. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's 45. 45 is 9 times 5. So if we get the square root of 45, that's 3 square root of 5. Okay, now we have the values of b and h. We are ready to find the area of the green triangle. Okay, let's do that. So let's use color green. So area of the green triangle is equal to 1/2 times b times h. We have 1/2 times 2 square root of 5 times h, 3 square root of 5. Okay, so if we simplify this, we can cancel 2, and then square root of 5 times square root of 5, that's square root of 25, or just 5, and then times 3, that's 15 square units. Take note, this is not yet the final answer. We still have to add the area of the red and the green triangle to get the total area of the shaded region. Okay, so area of shaded region is just equal to the sum of the two areas of the smaller triangles. So if you can still remember, the area of the red triangle, let's check, it's on top, that's 4, right? Okay, and the area of the green triangle is 15, so we have 15 plus 4, 19. Okay, so the answer here is letter D, 19 square units.